So what do you do? If you've ever been to a party where there were people in the room who didn't know you, at some point, I'm sure somebody lobbed that question at you. And this video is dedicated to help you not only answer the question so that you'll satisfy their curiosity, but so that you'll set yourself up for the future in a way that you're much more clear and much more strong. Hi, I'm David Martin, and for over 25 years, I've been working with people like you, people who are committed to transform outcomes for the better, for your business, but also for your customers and for your community. And you know that in that time, you stretch. When you stretch, sometimes things go off the rails. These videos are dedicated to help you both prevent those times or to get yourself back on track. So, what do you do? I know when I was new in my career and people would ask me that question, I would give them a very literal, not very powerful answer. Well, I sell shampoo and deodorant. It's true. That's how I started my career many, many years ago. But I found that that wasn't very satisfying for them, and it certainly wasn't satisfying for me because I was almost embarrassed to answer the question. I sell shampoo and deodorant? Are you kidding? And it took me a while, but I began to realize that that question really, there's a better way to think about the answer to that question that helped me. And I'm going to share my experience with you because I've found that the many clients I've shared it with over the years have found it helpful to them as well. So early on, you know how I answered the question, but eventually that answer for me evolved into, so what do you do? Oh, I get paid to make friends. And I would often get a side glance from people, but honestly, that was probably the most authentic way for me to answer that question. I was in sales. And I figured out early on that if I could really make friends with my clients in a way that I cared about them, we could have an honest conversation among friends about what their challenges were, and I would help them understand that, and then help them figure out whether the solutions that I was offering were needed by them. And even if they didn't need them, we were still friends. Eventually, I've evolved more into the work I do here as a coach and as a consultant, guiding people through the big change. And I changed my answer because I think I needed to. My answer became, well, I get paid to fall in love. And again, I got a funny look from people, but again, it was very honest. Because what I found is, as people would tell me about the business challenges that they were facing, not only would I fall in love with their business challenge to help them solve it, but I fell in love with them, not romantically, but in a way when you see someone challenging and really wanting to go for it, you can't help but care about them deeply. I fell in love. And that's what motivated me to keep going. Well, now I found an even more authentic answer because I've done this for so many years. When people ask me, so what do you do? I'm a genius farmer. I cultivate the seeds of genius in people and their ideas. So when they have an idea, my job is to help them bring it to life. Because usually they call me because where they are is here and where they want to go is way over there. It's a seed of an idea. And the seed, of their leadership. Both of them need to grow so that they can have a magnificent harvest. Now it helps to call myself a farmer because I'm the son of a farmer, who's the son of a farmer, who's the son of a farmer. It's in my bones. But also the metaphor of farming seems to come true over and over to help my clients and their businesses grow, to cultivate the situation so that they can thrive. So I ask the question of you, what do you do? Or what does your company do? Those are two questions that I think sometimes we take more literally, but I'll tell you, when I tell you that I'm a genius farmer, it opens up the world of possibilities for me. I'm much more clear, and I'm much more strong, and I'm not tied to a particular product or a particular program or a particular business that my clients work in, like I used to be when I would answer the question so literally. And what I find is many people want to answer the question, so what do you do, in a very literal way, which then if I work in tech, or I run an operation, or I'm a chief operating officer. They give their title, but if the work changes or if their team changes, they seem to keep needing to generate a new answer to the question. And they've also lost the opportunity to really empower themselves so that not only now, but as things change over time, regardless of what role they play, they still know who they are in that role. So it's not how you do what you do, it's just who you are in the role is, I think, the opportunity to really answer it. This is true for companies as well. Many years ago, Ray Kroc, the founder of McDonald's, would boast, no, we're not a food service company, we're in the real estate business. So, okay, for me, not the most inspiring answer, but at least they knew what they did. But more recently as 10 years ago before he passed, Steve Jobs said that Apple Computer was in the business that stood at the intersection of liberal arts and technology. And he himself said that that would transcend any of the products or services that they offered. But whoever worked at Apple, whatever product or service that they were developing or working on, they could be more clear about who they were and what they were doing. You know, for me, even as a genius farmer, I think about the most obvious farmer to me was my parents. My dad and my mom ran the farm. And I grew up in the self-proclaimed sweet corn capital of the world. And so every summer, my parents would grow sweet corn in the field, and the company would come to harvest it, usually in July or August. But about a week before, when the company would harvest, my parents had a long list of people that they would call on the phone and say, hey, the corn's just about ready to go. It's ready, perfect for eating, and come help yourself. And we would have people crawling through our fields, helping themselves to sweet corn. And if they couldn't come get it themselves, Mom and Dad would go out and put it in bags themselves and deliver it to them. And that was their generosity practice. Well, for me, I can't bring you sweet corn, but from the many years that I've been doing this work, I found that there's another way that I can be generous, which is to shoot these videos, to share with you the lessons learned from my teachers, from my clients, and many from my huge mistakes, so that the next time you're creating a transformation, you can see what's coming. And so this leadership library that I'm building is modeled after my parents, farmers, and their generosity practice. As a genius farmer, my generosity practice is to shoot these videos for you so that you can, they'll always be available, and they don't spoil like sweet corn does. This will be here available to you forever. And I hope that it helps you cultivate the seeds of genius in yourself and in your ideas. So the question on the table is, so what do you do? I'm going to ask you, based on what I've shared, to take another look at the answer that you might give to someone, that it could transcend any role that you might play, or even any company that you work at. And you could ask the same question for your company and answer it in a way that transcends the products or the timing, so that you can really be honest with yourself. It will inspire you, it will keep you going, and it will also help people understand you better. So I can't wait to hear back from you. What do you do? Please, I'd love to hear back. And after that, I'll see you in the next video. Thanks.